Hello folks, this is NC4XL. This is another review on an antenna, and I'm showing you some of the goodies that come in the box. It's hard to do this one-handed, so as you see, I'm at a park. And you know that we do parks on the air. One of the reasons I'm doing this, and there's the antenna we're talking about, is to compare it against a Chameleon CHA Delta Loop, the tactical Delta Loop, and the Wolf River Coil SB1000. Both are fine antennas. But I did some experimenting between different antennas with my team partner, KN4XP, Mike. And what I'm actually doing is opening this box up. Now, disclaimers. I am not paid by anybody. I'm not given anything for nothing. This is my third purchase of this antenna. Okay, it is so simple to put together and operate on and work with, and I'm going to give you some facts here in a second or two. These are your tuning stubs. Each of them are already cut for a certain length off of the main radial. The end piece, which is hard to video in that right here, you take and fold 6 inches of this wire back on itself. You fold 6 inches of this wire back on itself and then secure it here on your first testing with your analyzer, and you should find that you'll be right at 1.7, 1.8 to 1 on all the bands. Now, all the bands mean 10 through 40. 3 tuning stubs. They hang down vertically this way. They don't ride along the wire this way. They hang down this way, and I'm telling you that for a reason. Because sometimes we get it up in the air and you have an issue. It's wrapped around itself, so watch out for that. For those that are brand new into using an end fed or this particular end fed, this end goes up in the tree or the jackite pole or the spider beam pole. This goes to the elevated portion. This wire is, I believe, 61.5 feet or 63.5 inches feet long. Okay. The other end, the box end, this can be 4 feet off the ground. I usually run around 6 feet, just high enough where I can reach the coax and put the coax on. There's a place for a ground or a counterpose if you feel so desired to, but this antenna is set up that you do not need a counterpose. I'll say it again, some of them require it, this one does not. You secure it with your paracord or whatever you use. This end hangs down. Your transformer end. There's give you a good example. I could tie it off right to that. I could put it way up there, and that's the tree that I normally use at this park where I'm sitting. Now, reason I'm really hyped up, if you want to call it that, or proud of what this antenna does, is Mike and I, when we first got started, we utilized the Wolf River Coil. We utilized, myself, the CHA TDL. And we were getting X number of contacts. And I guess that's what we accepted, that was okay. Band propagation makes one difference. And let me turn this around here. Band propagation has a lot to do with the amount of contacts you make, but the properly resonant antenna also has a lot to do with it. The Chameleon Delta Loop is an NVES type antenna, low to the ground, works excellent, requires a tuner. There's one thing, requires a tuner. I don't like to have to hook up any additional items if I don't have to. If your radio has a tuner built in, you're good to go. The Wolf River coil, the SB1000 that we use, is set up on 20 and 40 because we have two separate collars, and the collars are tuned for 20 meters and 40 meters. So I don't need a tuner, but I need to get up, go to it, change the wire from one collar to the next. If you're chasing parks and so forth, and you're bouncing between bands, then it becomes a inconvenience. Excellent antenna. The Wolf River does a fine job for a vertical antenna. The Delta Loop does a fine job, but it's a different pattern. It is sort of directional, depending on where you aim it. You will notice a difference. Now, I'm excited about this antenna. I've even used it on 17 meters, and it's not designed for 17 meters. Okay, with the tuner you can make the radio and the antenna compromise each other, but it's not designed for 17. So we're in the process of getting a 17 meter NFET. The picture that I'm going to show you here shows you the three tuning stubs and their total lengths. Most of the time when we get paperwork, we don't read it. You don't see anything on there for 17 meters. Okay? But I know you don't want to watch me scan the paper, but maybe you'll take the time when you get yours, after you order yours, that you'll read the paper. When Mike and I started with our antennas in POTA, 23 contacts for the day was great. We were excited. But Mike said, hey, look, I want to try something. Are you game? I said, sure, let's do it. So we went out to Turnbull Park, and we threw up the NFET, we threw up the Delta Loop, we threw up the SB1000, we threw up another Wolf River, and we had 4 antennas out there at the time. The other Wolf River was on 6 meters. So we experimented chasing parks and listening to the bands. We got to the NFET. We started making contacts, and we're saying, whoa, I think it's time we go activate. And we started activating. We never went back to any other antennas. We had to switch controls to go between the 2 radios and the 4 antennas. We didn't need to go nowhere else. And I guess that's why I'm sharing you with this video. Again, nobody's giving me anything. I don't ask for anything. The daggone antenna works great if you can do it. I use a cheap fishing pole with about 4 ounces, between 2 and 4 ounces to get the line up. I use 25-pound test line. I don't use 8-pound from a cheap fishing rod. And I throw it up in a tree, and I take my paracord, and I hook on the other side, pull it down, then I hook the antenna, the little black plastic stubby end, to that and pull it all the way up. I've had it as high as 60 feet up. I had a good arm that day. But the thing is, when this antenna is set up in a sloper configuration and band propagation is there, I expect you to make an awesome amount of contacts. After that day of doing POTA activation at Turnbull with a brand new antenna, I was sold. We had all the other antennas. We tried the other antennas. We went between them with the switch controls. All of us have our own desired antenna. If you're mobile, you'll use this tri-mount or this buddy pole system or this super antenna. Whatever works for you is awesome. And that's the whole principle about promoting any antenna. But this antenna, I've given away as gifts. I bought 3 of them, and I'll probably buy some more of them. If you're wanting to get out and have some contacts, and you have the extra funds to spend on the money, that money is going to give you contacts back. It really is. Same thing with the other antennas. This antenna outperforms the other 2. If you don't believe me, email or message Mike. Ask his opinion. Don't just take my word for it. Remember, I'm a newbie when it comes to Parks on the Air or POTA. And I may be a newbie when it comes to antennas too. But since I've got involved in portable operations, this antenna, the Vibroplex, NFED, it's the EF-quad NFED, is a workhorse. And I'd like to believe that once you get it up in the air and you put it online, and you either trigger that paddle or you squeeze that mic, that you're going to make some contacts. Again, nobody's given me anything for it. Sure, I'll take stuff. My thing is I want you, if you're concerned about trying an antenna that somebody stands behind, we stand behind it. KN4XP Papa, that's Mike. And this darling old man, November, Charlie for X-Ray Lima, North Carolina for extreme lovers, and I'm not, but I'm happy to share this antenna with you, and I hope that you will possibly consider it in your arsenal of ammunition to work the airwaves on Parks on the Air. Have a blessed day. Bye now.